Let's talk about backstage and onstage etiquette in theater. How do you act when you're in a show? Well, one, you want to avoid joking and playing pranks on stage or backstage. It's so much fun to do a show, especially a long run. You all learn your tracks and you get comfortable with it. And then the joking starts to happen and people start playing little pranks on each other backstage and whatnot. There's a fair amount of that can happen in a show, which is fun and communal and makes the show an exciting thing to do. But you should never joke on stage, never change the lines, never put props that aren't somebody's in place of theirs. Now, we've all kind of done it at one point or another, and it's been funny. So I can't say don't ever do it. Remember, the more professional you are, the more you're going to work. The cardinal rule is that the audience should never know, and it should never affect the performance of another actor. Some actors just can't stand it when people play pranks. So just be very mindful if you do want to take a little prank. Don't talk backstage. If you have to talk, just talk very, very softly. Get your point across quickly. Don't be backstage if you don't have to be. If you're not waiting for a cue, don't be back watching the rest of the show. Or if you are, make sure that it's okay with the stage manager. Things are moving on and off, flying in and out. You can't be there in the way. So just be mindful of that. Be very mindful of spaces where people do quick changes or where they have to cross from one side of the stage to the other. Make sure you're out of their way, even if you are backstage. Know the show, know other people's tracks as well, so that you know what's coming up, and always be paying attention for things like that, safety issues and running into people, things like that. So the next tip I have is to, oh look, it's my top tier Patreon sponsor. Thank you very much, top tier Patreon sponsor. If you want to be a top tier Patreon sponsor, go to my Patreon page, sign up for one of the tiers, and you might see your name here next week. You always want to be paying attention to the show. Now, sometimes you can have long periods of time where you could read a book, play a game on your phone, but always be paying attention to what's going on in the show and know what your cue lines are, what you're listening for. Give yourself a 10-minute warning and a 5-minute warning and a 1-minute warning so that you know, oh, they just said that line, I need to get ready. And make sure that you're not rushing to your spot. Make sure you're changed into your costume. Make sure that you know what lines you're going to be saying before you start to focus on other mundane things. Don't break character when you're on stage, especially if the audience can see it. You know, if somebody goes up on a line or something happens and you need to kind of recover from it, it's okay to improvise a little bit, but don't improvise otherwise. Don't throw anybody off by adding a line or a gesture or a piece of blocking that wasn't in the original direction. Also, don't ever change the direction of the show. Maintain the show as was directed and don't modify it. Don't make big discoveries and changes without clearing them with the director or stage manager first. Incidentally, my friend Peggy O'Connell wrote the book on etiquette for professional actors. It's such a good book, you should buy it. If you want to learn more about the book, watch my interview with Peggy O'Connell right here. Now, if you follow these rules as a theater actor, you're going to be golden. But what if you only do film? What if you were a film actor? I don't know. Why are you even watching this video? You should be watching this video instead.